Few recognize the name Gallienus, but without him, the Roman Empire might have completely disintegrated in the years after 260 AD. This is the extraordinary story of one of Rome's darkest hours. Contemporaries who lived through the 3rd century upheavals looked back on the previous age as one of peace and prosperity, but in reality it could be said that Rome had lurched from crisis to crisis ever since its foundation in 753 BC. There had always been famines and plagues, military disasters, civil wars, attempts to seize supreme power, rebellions within the provinces, raids and invasions from beyond the frontier, and migrating tribes pressing on the edges of the Roman world. The Romans had dealt with all of these in the past and survived. The trouble was that in the 3rd century, many problems surfaced at the same time, some of them on a grander scale than ever before, and they proved more difficult to eradicate. Two of the most serious threats to the empire in the 3rd century were the developments taking place among the tribes of the northern frontiers beyond the Rhine and Danube, and the growth of a formidable centralizing power in the east. Relations with the northern tribesmen had never been stable, nor are they continually hostile. Rome maintained the upper hand by a combination of diplomacy and warfare, promoting the elite groups among the various tribes, and supporting them by means of gifts and subsidies. Sometimes food supplies, and even military aid were offered. Various emperors had settled migrating groups of peoples within the empire and had often recruited tribesmen into the Roman army, where they rendered good service. The very fact of the empire's existence influenced the way in which native society developed on the periphery. When all kinds of dangers threatened the tribes beyond the empire, it probably seemed safer and more lucrative to be on the other side of the Roman frontiers. The ultimate aim of many of the tribes was not necessarily total conquest, but a wish for lands to farm and for protection. This became more necessary to some peoples in the first decades of the 3rd century. At about the same time, archaeological evidence shows that vigorous, warlike tribesmen moved into the more peaceful lands to the northwest of the empire, precipitating the abandonment of a wide area that was previously settled and agriculturally wealthy. The northern world outside the Roman Empire was restless. Raids across the frontiers became more severe, especially in the 232s, when Roman forts, and some civilian settlements, were partially destroyed. As the power of the tribal federations grew, the Romans began to feel nervous, and to think of defensive walls for their unprotected cities.